Hello and welcome to another edition of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem, a show where we answer your most pressing questions about the most recent episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was Sam Sheppard and Marilyn Sheppard. All the questions we're answering today came from you guys via our BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, our BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram page, as well as directly on the video on
Bun. As you can see, Ryan and I are still in our homes.
And as always, and as we have reiterated every single last week of this quarantine, it has not taken any effect on our mental health.
We're doing great. We're doing great. Feeling good, feeling healthy, feeling strong. I feel strong, Ryan. Do you feel strong?
No, I feel very strong. I feel mentally strong. That's why I have my brain hat on.
I got my brain hat on too, and I put a little ribbon on it because I want to feel like Johnny Depp over here.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like half Johnny Depp, half that pigeon lady from Home Alone 2.
You do kind of look like that because of the scarf.
A sexy, sexy lady.
The sexy lady. Okay, I don't know about that part. But I will say that you do look like both of those things. I got my Bugara shirt on. I also look like an Apple Store employee walking around with my AirPod Pros. And, of course, I got the cowboy hat, which, as I mentioned earlier, was my... what the hell did I say it was?
It was your brain hat? I don't know.
My brain hat is my brain hat because my brain feels real strong today.
Our brains are getting too big. We gotta lock them down with these cool hats.
I gotta put my brain in a little brain prison because it's getting too powerful. Anyways.
Ryan, I feel like we've completely overridden whatever sense of lag there used to be. Now we got a rhythm going. It's like...
The internet is just galloping along like horses on the range, you know what I mean?
Just to show how in sync we are now after weeks and weeks of quarantine, I'm gonna do a little jazz scat and I'm gonna throw it right over to you and you'll see how smooth and clean that transition.
Yeah, go for it.
Zap, zap, scoot up, bap, bop, boo-doo.
Oh
yeah!
Ow, that was some hot sauce. Ooh, I'm gonna peel all the meat off of that bone. It's spicy.
Yes, sir.
We are not drunk.
No, it's just the end of a long week.
It's Friday. We filmed these at the end of Friday, and that means it's a week of staring at screens on Zoom.
That's right. Let's answer some questions.
No, we got art first. You always forget about the art, man.
I always forget about the art. You know me, I hate art.
It's right, he hates it. He has art at his house that says, I hate art.
We got some good art here. This is from Peachy Doodle. It's us with the funny Mothman.
Oh, and it's us donning our sticky bandits. Our wet bandits look.
From the
Viper Room.
Viper Room.
Hell yeah.
The second piece of art is from Wheezes for All. That's just us looking like a couple cool dudes.
You look like a character I wouldn't trust in the Pokemon RPG games.
Oh?
You look like a gym leader that is, like a garden-themed Pokemon.
I'd like to say I'm a very trustworthy man.
I'm sure you are. Let's move on to Facebook then, to Liz Boldman, #postmortem. Do you think Sheppard could have been drugged at the party by someone? It seems odd to me that he fell asleep while there were still guests in the house partying. Then, when he woke up, he couldn't make out any details about the assailant, besides a white form moving around and attacking. Even after he chased him outside and got to the shore, if he wasn't drugged, it seems that he would have been able to make out more details the more he woke up. Drugged or like really drunk. What do you boys think? Now, I gotta say, he did have a severe head injury, which would then cause him to be quite foggy. While you may be crystal clear in the moment, you get a couple bonks on the head, you come to later, you realize you don't really remember much.
Yeah.
Much like a night of drinking.
To their point, I knew people growing up, and I'm not one for passing out at parties, but there were certainly people in my circle of friends who were sort of known to pass out at parties or fall asleep at parties.
Like in the middle of the party, or would they like go somewhere else?
Yes, in the middle of the party. And granted, it would be like closer to twilight hours.
Can't hang, huh?
Couldn't hang, bruh.
I actually would be one of the people that would go walk straight to my bedroom and then just go to sleep.
Well, that sounds nice. Isn't it the worst when you have a party or you have people over and everyone's like, you're like, okay, well, time for bed for me. And no one quite picks up on that. And you're like, when the fuck are these idiot's gonna leave.
I'd start playing crazy clown music and they'd leave. That's a true story. There was a specific song that I called the Shoo Away song, and it would shoo away all my guests. And it was a crazy clown song. It was called Be a Clown. This song went boop 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 boop.
That's my favorite song now.
By the time it would end, nobody would be there except me.
I love it. Next question, over to Instagram town. It's from Rhonda. Says, what are the boys' favorite variety of pasta? It's for science. Ryan, do you have a favorite pasta?
I like penne because it makes me feel like a fancy.
I love penne.
No, and you know what? No, I'm mixing them up. Bow tie makes me feel like a fancy little man because
Interesting.
little bow ties.
Interesting.
But I do like penne because penne traps the sauce in the little tube.
It does trap the sauce. I've been a penne fan since I was a little boy. Especially if it's, what do they say? What's that word? El dente?
Oh yeah, that's when it's, is that when it's very soft or very hard?
I think that's when it's still a little hard. You throw it at the wall like they do in the commercials, just like Mom used to do.
Yeah, just like she used to do.
You know, the other contender is cavatappi. You know that one?
Ooh, is that the really tiny one? That's like
No. It's a tube, much like penne.
Yes,
but it's
yes.
spirally tube.
Yes. I'm not the biggest fan of those because those are usually in oh shit, what is it called when it's still cold? It's like on the menu.
Oh, like a noodle salad?
Yeah, but what are those called?
I don't know. I hate cold pasta.
It's under a section, the shit section of the menu. It's like, hey, I want some food that isn't cooked and doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
I'll take some of those. Could you make an entire section dedicated to that?
Well, no, but sometimes they get them. You get them hot. They put a little like salmon in it or some vodka sauce. Oh baby, oh, whoa. Do you like the vodka sauce?
I like vodka and sauce. Let's go to YouTube. This comes from Haha. Hello. I don't think that the murderer would have had to break in. I think that they could have came inside during the party and hid. That's actually one of my worst fears in life that came from one of the first cases we ever did on BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was the horrifying murders of the Hinterkaifeck farm.
A scary one.
That's a story of a man who broke into a family's house when they were away, hid, waited till they all fell asleep, and then murdered them. Something I've always been very scared of. So to this day, I every now and then will check closets around the house.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, sometimes I walk around my house with a katana and then I just check my closets.
Here's one from Yeet Destiel. Hashtag postmortem. What would you do if you weren't doing BuzzFeed Unsolved? Clearly, Shane would make a great judge and detective.
Oh, I bet you could guess what I would be doing.
You'd be an Imagineer.
Yes, you got it, big guy. I actually don't know what you'd be doing because you often joke that you would just be a barista somewhere.
When I did see this question, I thought maybe a barista, or maybe like like a fire watch post in a national park or something would be fun.
That'd be pretty cool. I could see you doing like a dirty job like Mike Rowe, but not the Mike Rowe part, just the dirty job.
Yeah, I'd just be dirty as hell. I'd be like a dirty guy.
Yeah, that's what we'd be doing. Let's move on here to another, this one's relevant to the case. Facebook. Kristen Thomas says, I remember this story well. Dr. Sheppard had injuries that he could not have possibly done to himself. The white form was most likely his subconscious remembered due to his head injury, which we mentioned earlier. How would you explain his injuries? The handyman Eberling was the most credible as a suspect. He was in possession of her jewelry, a deathbed confession admitting to killing Mrs. Sheppard, and at that time he was a convicted murderer of another woman. What was his MO in her murder? Shane was correct from the beginning. A great injustice was done to Dr. Sheppard. Hashtag postmortem. I'm not sure, but I do think that I like Eberling as my number one suspect. I don't know if I could say that, but that's who I think.
Sure. Most of these people probably aren't here anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, he's dead. He had a deathbed confession. That's what that is.
Oh, right. Yeah. Usually that's followed by death.
Unless it's JK. Anyways, let's move on.
Maybe this is sort of related. This is Instagram. This is from Claw Rice Win, this is hashtag postmortem. I personally freak out when I hear wall cracks or bumps at night. What are your guys' reactions to hearing noises in the middle of the night? And I suppose this is somewhat related if someone were stashed away in one of our apartments and we heard a kooky little clunk.
You know, I gotta say, that's when it's katana time.
That's when it's katana time.
That's when I get up, I pick up my katana, and I walk around looking for blood.
You do a 3.5 hour sort of circuit around your house, right? Sort of
Yeah, so what I do is I unsheath my katana, and then I walk around my house, and I look for blood. And if I don't find anybody, it is customary for me to cut myself a little bit on the finger because I can't return it into the sheath until it spills a little blood.
That is like sort of an oath you took.
One day it will, its thirst will be quenched. You know what I mean? Test me, maybe.
Where did you get this?
This katana, I didn't purchase actually. I was playing basketball one day in my driveway.
Yeah.
A pickup truck drove by my house, and I heard clink, clank, clank, and I went, "What is that?" And I ran out to see what it was, and in the middle of the street was a katana that had fallen off of this pickup truck. And that's actually how I got that katana.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. That is a true story. I am not doing a bit. That is how I got this katana.
That's crazy. That rules.
It's kind of like the katana was bestowed upon me by God. And I feel like I am one of his holy warriors now. So anyways, moving on here to YouTube. You know what? We don't really do roast mortem here on this show anymore. But my hair, as I have mentioned through this entire season, was hilarious this episode.
It was certainly a choice in this episode.
It was a choice in that it was no choice. This was my first time growing out my hair. I chose to do that on camera in the biggest show that I host. Why I did that, I'm not sure. But it is a choice I made. You're seeing the results on the internet. I think they're very funny. And there was a lot of comments talking about the hair that really made me laugh. So I'm just gonna go through a couple of them right now. These are all from YouTube. This comes from Viva La Vivi. Ryan looks like my uncle who brought vodka to Disney by putting it in a lotion bottle.
True. Check.
This comes from Ricardo Parra. Ryan rocking that my barber on quarantine cut.
Absolutely.
Also good. Stinky_sushi says Ryan looks like he's been drinking 10 fingers of rye. Good one because that's a good callback to Thelma Todd.
Thelma.
Jordan Scadlock says Ryan looks like Peter Parker 3 days after he got the black suit.
Oh, when Toby was all emoed out.
Yeah. Sindirth MC says Ryan's hair looks like a bear's behind after fishing night. That's also that's my favorite one. And then here's another, just a silly one from YouTube. JMS00 for the postmortem. Ryan, I will beat you in a 1v1 game of basketball.
Oh,
no, you won't.
Shoot.
You won't.
Shoot.
You won't. In fact, JMS, whenever this quarantine's over, just direct message me on Instagram. We'll set the court, we'll set the time, we'll set the place. If you want to get embarrassed, I'm happy to oblige you. JMS00. In fact, it's funny that 00 is in your name.
That's what's gonna be. That's what's up on the scoreboard. Yeah.
I'm coming for you. It's time to put your money where your mouth is, bitty boy.
He's gonna bring his katana too. Here's from Grab Down from J.A. Cunningham 19. Hashtag Toastmortem, because we're not doing roast mortem this season because we just want to lift people up, celebrate people, smile, feel good, positivity.
Take our caps off for them. Yeah.
Hashtag Toastmortem. A toast to Harrison Ford for his success in the world of film. His legacy will live on forever.
He is alive still.
Yeah, I did think that last bit was a little strange. It does make it sound like he is a dead man.
Unless J.A. Cunningham 19 knows something we don't. Has a gun to Harrison Ford's head right
now. They're at Harrison Ford's home. They just finished strangling him, and they were like, "Oh, I better leave a nice little message for the boys."
Yeah, you just finished killing him. You plot down on Harrison Ford's couch, which I imagine is
his
very
legacy
nice.
will live on forever.
You watched the episode of Unsolved, and then you left this comment. Thank you.
Well, get out of there before Callista comes home. A toast to Callista.
Yeah,
Why
toast
not?
to Callista. You know, I
That's
love
fun
Harrison
to say.
Ford.
A toast to Callista. Ryan, I have a question for you,
Tommy Lee
and Feel free to answer it. Feel free to dance around it. Do whatever you gotta do, but I'm still gonna ask it anyway. What is coming up this week on the next episode of Season 6 of BuzzFeed Unsolved?
Oh!
True crime!
I don't know what that was. The season finale of BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime. Also, our 100th episode. That's right, the century mark. It's a very special episode, an episode that I'm very proud of. And do I give away more than that? I don't know. I just lost track of what I was saying because I can't stop thinking about the beach. I want to go back to the beach.
The beach?
Anyways.
I guess the beach is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Anyways, that's all. That does it for this episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem. Make sure you watch the season finale this Friday and send in your questions to the BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram page, or comment directly on the video on Bun, and maybe you'll be on the next episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem.